I'm not
wine and dine me first.
Yeah, you ain't even got me a burger, and you're up talking about connections that I got. At least take me for y'all like wings.
Y'all like wings?
Yeah. At least take me for some wings or some 10-piece. Can I get a 10-piece out of this?
Nothing, man.
Nothing. We are back. Steak and Sauce Podcast, episode 4. I'm your host, Derek Nowlin. We have a very special guest here today, Mr. Dan Marshall. You may remember him from the 4 years he played linebacker at Virginia Tech to his most recent appearance on this year's American Idol as a country music artist. Dan, thank you for being here. Let's give it up for Dan.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Also, my co-host, Mr. Antonio Claiborne. Thank you for being here, sir. Today's episode will be brought to you by Sinklin Farms. Sinklin Farms is hosting their second annual Sunflower Festival this weekend, where Dan will be performing tonight from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So please come on out and give those guys your support. Please follow Sinklin Farms on all social media platforms. And also a big thank you to Curtis Sink as well from Sinklin Farms. You can find them at 3020 Ronner Road in Christiansburg, Virginia. So you guys, please come check that out. They have great events lined up, a great musician, and it'll be a great time for sure. So Dan, once again, thank you for being here today. How was the trip getting here?
I was good. It was probably about a 7-hour drive.
Okay, and
so I recently moved to Nashville, probably like a little over a month ago.
Okay,
all right.
So that's how I met Adam here, Adam Kramer, who's a killer guitar player. And
okay,
having us on,
yes, but it's about driving straight through it's 6 hours, but you're stopping, you're going to the bathroom, you're getting Chick-fil-A, mandatory Chick-fil-A,
mandatory, Polynesian sauce,
Polynesian.
Hey, the sriracha sauce is pretty good, man.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Not many people know about that. It's got a nice sweet and spicy to it.
Right.
It's good stuff.
Awesome. So the recent move to Nashville, was that in efforts to continue to expand on your music career, and you wanted to be in the heart of country music, right?
Yeah. So I grew up in Chesapeake, which is down the street from Norfolk, Virginia Beach. Like country music there, it's not huge, but it's what I grew up with, it's what I fell in love with, So to expand on my opportunity, to capitalize on the show, I was like, I'm moving to Nashville, dude. This is what I want to do.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Just take a step,
Right.
So.
Yeah. I commend you for that, because in order to chase your dreams, you got to get uncomfortable. And nothing's more uncomfortable than moving to a new city, making new friends, learning the area. So, man, that's awesome that you did that.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Well, nothing's more uncomfortable than, American Idol. I love American Idol and stuff, but, so... It's like, all right, what's moving to Nashville now?
Right.
Let's do it.
Right.
Going from national television to going to the heart of the music working scene, man. Yeah,
that's awesome. And Adam, how long have you been playing?
My whole life, I'd say. Grew up in a musical family. My dad handed me a mandolin when I was around kindergarten.
Okay.
And I played Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I didn't get much farther than that, but then he put me on guitar, and now here I am.
That's amazing.
Still
that's
doing
amazing. I'm glad to have you here today as well.
Thank you.
And seems like you're already making friends and great contacts with talented people. So that's amazing, bro.
Yeah, well, that's kind of, a lot of the reason why you want to move to a city like Nashville as a musician, just to, kind of find people that are like-minded and, have the same goal as you. It's kind of one of those cities that you're competing against each other as musicians for an audience, but you're also trying to achieve the same goal. So it's like everybody's kind of on the same team.
Awesome.
Or at least that's the vibe I get so far. I might come back on someday and be like, screw Nashville. I'll move back, dude.
5 years of my life, dude, out the window.
Done with it. Yeah. Do you feel like there is cohesion between people that are artists there that want to help each other out, or is it more competition based?
It's a little bit of both, but I think more cohesion for sure. I mean, you're always looking for co-writes. You're always looking for people who are good at their craft, who want to get better.
Okay.
And so that's kind of the main reason why you'd want to be in Nashville, a place like that.
That's amazing.
I think you get a mixed bag too of, the competition and the cohesion. There's a lot of people who just want to get together, get a group going, and go out and make music. And then there's other ones that'll, be very friendly to your face and just kind of
Yeah. We were talking about this the other day. Some people just see you as a ladder, but you can spot them like that.
Right.
They'll say like, "Oh, like, hey, we should write sometime." No, by the way, you should invite this person that you know. And it's like, oh, okay,
I see where this is going.
yeah. Like, oh, all right, man, like it's cool.
Right. Right.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. It seems like, especially today, everybody has an agenda. And you got to filter through to find out which people are going to be genuine on your team and want to see you succeed, even if that means they don't come up to the next level too.
Yeah.
And if you can find people like that, that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm all good with the quid pro quo, helping each other out kind of thing. But, at least get to know the guy first, at least get to sit down, have a beer with him,
right?
Before you start, jumping into like, oh, so this one person, is there any way? Like, no, come on, no, wine and dine me first, come on.
You ain't even got me a burger, and you up talking about connections that I got, at least take me for y'all like wings,
y'all like wings,
at least take me for some wings or some 10-piece. Can I get a 10-piece out of this?
Nothing, man,
nothing.
People shock me, dude, but it is what it is.
It is what it is because, they see you going in a direction and they're like, you know what? This is an opportunity, and unfortunately, you'll have those people, but I feel like you have a genuine personality. So like you said, you can detect it early, very quick,
It's easy to filter it out, when you know what you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. It's, you're going to get it.
Right.
You're going to get it.
Right. So Dan, growing up in the Chesapeake area, 757 area code, we've always heard the stories of the amazing talent that has come out of that area.
Yeah.
We were fortunate enough to see some of them come here to Virginia Tech.
Right.
How was it growing up in that area, being involved in sports and just the sheer amount of talent in that area?
So the reason, first and foremost, I come from a military family. So that's the whole reason why we moved there in the first place. My dad was 28 years active duty Marine.
Thank you for his service.
Yeah. He's a wonderful guy and, my hero for sure. But we moved there kind of towards the back half of his career. So I was like 6 years old when we moved there. And that was like, he was a full bird colonel at that point, and I think he retired maybe 5 years later. But anyways, we come from a very competitive family in the first place. We love sports. Love it. So we settled down in the 7-5, and it fit like a glove, dude. Right away, like started playing ball, started wrestling, baseball, all this stuff. I never got into like basketball or anything. I was trash at it, but it's all good. But I loved it, dude. Loved it. But yeah, crazy talent coming out of that area. I just remember like, I don't know if you guys remember like Jaquan Yulee, rest his soul. He played at Marshall. Tavante Beckett. Josh Sweat, Josh Sweat went to Florida State. There's a bunch. Devin Hunter, who's a safety for us right now for the Hokies. I mean, just like crazy talent, and there's more and more talent coming out of that area every year. So definitely thankful to like claim it. I love it. You know?
I hope that we can continue to tap into that pool of talent. To bring them here. And so those guys won't find Florida State and, Florida and all these places because everybody wants to throw up the U. I don't care nothing about that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't care nothing about what the U's got going on. I ain't looked at the U since McGahee was down there.
Man, so, speaking of the U, I met Ray Lewis in LA like a couple months back. A couple months back.
How was that?
That was sick. It was awesome.
Yeah,
he's huge, dude. So he's like, oh man, he's probably like inch and a half taller than me. Like he's a big dude, right? But like I went to go dap him up, and his hands like wrapped around mine. I was like, so this is what a Hall of Fame linebacker looks like.
Yeah.
But he was just as nice as can be, and he knew who I was. I was stoked, man. He was like, oh yeah, you're that dude that played football and sings, and I was like, oh yeah, that's me.
That's Ray
me.
Lewis knows who you are.
Yeah, I swear.
That's enough right there.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to do a cartwheel right in front of him.
Right. You made it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was jazzed, to say the least.
That's amazing, bro.
It was cool, man.
I think I had seen that picture on your Instagram, I believe, where you guys were shaking hands.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So he was, I think his daughter was taking prom pictures or something. And we were staying at a really nice part of LA for the show. And I was walking past him. I was with my brother. And he was like, I think that's Ray Lewis. I was like, dude, good one. Whatever. I was like, no, seriously, look. I looked. Son of a gun, dude. That's Ray Lewis. And he's standing there. I think he was with his wife and some like super fan that was talking to him. And I went up to him and I was like, hey, Ray, like, you know, you've been such a huge inspiration for me. Like, I've been watching this dude since I was like 8 years old. Bone crushing hits, like leadership, love him. Yeah. And so like, just kind of like, cause you only see you only get to see people like that. Like, how often are you going to see Ray Lewis?
That's true.
I don't know if I'm ever going to see him again. You know, if you're watching this, Ray, like, what's up, dude?
Hey, Ray.
God bless you.
If you're watching, please subscribe to the channel. Please share this with all of your Hall of Famer friends. Let us come out and visit you.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. You already know Dan. Yeah. We're cool, too.
They'll bring a podcast to you, man. Yeah, we'll bring it.
Ray, come through and listen, I got $20 on the table that says we put up 2 cones. I'm taking you down, bro. I'm serious.
On, man.
I'm just going to put that out there. You know, accept the challenge, Ray. So, no, but that's awesome, man. Shout out to Ray. I actually got his book not too long ago to start reading that. And just the being on that level of competitiveness and having that drive and just being a leader at that level is amazing to me.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
You're at that level, they're all alphas. They're all
everybody.
They're all big dogs. Right. Everybody. So like the kind of man you have to be to like lead other dudes like that is like it's impressive.
And they look up to you. It wasn't just hype. Yeah. Like they really
they like look at him with admiration and respect and every word that comes out of his mouth. He's just one of those guys, you know.
Yes, sir. So Dan, what type of lessons did you learn early on in life from your father being a Marine colonel? People don't understand the levels that different branches have.
You're right.
So I was in the Army.
Okay.
So I would definitely put the Marines right above us as far as like level of intensity, you know?
Yeah, he was an intense guy for sure. But like at the same time, extremely loving, you know, like he was he always says, he's like, I'm not intense. He calls it passionate.
He's passionate.
I'm passionate.
I'm passionate. Right.
I'm like, yeah, that's actually a good way to see it.
Like those times he was trying to get you to eat those veggies, dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So like he you know, he instilled like, you know, kind of the golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated, you know. Life's a contact sport. So basically, you know, you want to treat everybody with some sort of, you know, dignity and respect and, you know, put on a smile for everybody. And, you know, for the most part, it's always going to be genuine, but, you know, sometimes you never know. But, you know, he also was, you know, my biggest fan, you know. He was, there were times, you know, I was like, hey, Dad, like, I need to play catch in the front yard, like, help me out, you know. And he's always on it, man. He's always been the one to help me with footwork drills or, you know, even when it came to music, like, you know, he was all over it. You know, he still is to this day, but, you know, it's just, so he's a wonderful guy. My mom too. My mom's, you know, second in command over there. So she's got it going on.
Right.
So, you know, I come from a super supportive, like, family household. You know, some of the sweetest people you'll ever meet.
Awesome.
Seriously.
Man, that's awesome. I love to hear stories of people's family dynamics and the reason I ask that is because I know a lot of the lessons that he gave you about discipline, about showing up, about completing tasks, about keeping your word, that came from the foundation he has.
Absolutely.
So how did that mold you early on to give you discipline when you started out in high school with athletics and things that you think other people may have not had?
Yeah. Well, you know, that was, you know, discipline and all this, that was something that, you know, he always did push, but in high school, and I don't know if you guys remember what your character was like in high school, but I wasn't very disciplined. You know what I'm saying? Like I like to go out and have fun and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, like, you know, you never stray too far from how you were raised. So now, you know, I'm 24 years old now, and I can always reflect on, you know, the lessons that my dad and my mom taught me, and, you know, kind of kind of use those for reference to kind of guide me through music now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Did you ever want to follow in his footsteps? I know you have a brother that right.
So I did. You know, I was thinking about doing the Marine Corps, but at the end of the day, another thing that my parents always instilled, they always, you know, wanted you to believe in yourself, kind of thing. You know, and so you want to lead a life that you want to live. So that was kind of like why you started this whole podcast. You're like, you had this in the back of your mind for a long time, but you never had the courage to do it until finally you said, screw it, I'm going to make videos on my iPhone, you know, but that's how everybody starts out, you know?
Yeah.
But so that was kind of like, for me, it was like, I'd always wanted to like sing country music. I've always loved it. It's all I listened to. I was the weirdo in high school that listened to country music.
Me too.
You know? Yeah. So you too?
I still make fun of him to this day when I listen to it.
Because I'll be riding down the road and I might have George Strait playing.
Yeah.
90s country. And Antonio looks at me.
I
He
get
goes,
so mad at him.
he's like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? I listened to Brooks and Dunn. Yeah. I was singing my heart out, right? Because I was going through something. And, you know, I was listening to Neon Moon, right?
Yeah, dude, yeah.
And I was singing my heart out, and he's rolling his eyes at me like, God, man. Like, you know?
I can't help it. I can't help it.
I know, man.
I told him we can't always spin the block on every song. We got to have something on diversity. We can't always do that, you know? So he always picks on me because my playlist is genuinely all over the place.
Yeah.
I'll go from Hanson to Three Doors Down to Jeezy, and we might end it with Travis Tritt. You know, I mean, it's all over the place.
Yeah, dude.
Possible.
And me and my mom, we literally make it a point. And now the market is so saturated with music, and we'll get into that because you can't keep up.
Right.
When I was growing up, you had to wait for an album to be released to hear that music, right? There was maybe no mixtapes in between. You were just waiting on that artist to drop something. Yeah. Now, in the midst of waiting, you can go to sleep tonight, and Currency, I don't know if y'all know him as an artist, he's dropped 15 mixtapes in 12 hours. So you can't keep up. You know, there's no way. So I think it's funny that he said that because they still make fun of me to this day. And that's fine because I'm always be like that. But so getting back to growing up in the household, the competitiveness and so you mentioned wrestling, football, baseball, right? So out of those, which ones did you play for Dan and which ones did you play because someone wanted you to kind of play?
No, I played all those for Dan.
For Dan. Okay.
Straight
Okay.
up.
All right.
So, and I loved all three for totally different reasons. Actually, wrestling and football were more closely related because I love like kind of combat sports. Like I played football as a kid because I just wanted to hit somebody. That's it, dude. And wrestling because I just wanted to manhandle somebody. I wanted to like learn everything.
Right.
You know, I wasn't bad at it, but wrestling kind of turned me off because they have like tournaments every weekend and they're like Friday through Sunday tournaments. Right. And I was getting into that a little bit and I was just like, you know, I don't know if I love it this much, you know. And then, you know, baseball, it was the same thing. Those are two sports you can get burned out really easily. So I have a lot of respect for like college wrestlers.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I mean, they're dogs, man.
Yeah.
So they've been wrestling since they were 3 years old and their dad wrestled and their daddy's daddy wrestled, you know?
Right.
So
he still got his state championship ring and he shows
yeah. He's wearing his ring around.
One of his
Yeah. That was 30 years ago. What are you doing? Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. And I love that you mentioned wrestling because I come from a wrestling background in my high school. We were able to achieve like
they won like 20 state championships in a row.
You know, before we kind of took a decline from that a little bit. Shout out to Christiansburg. What weight did you wrestle?
So I was 195.
Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a freshman in high school.
Hey,
195. I was a big boy, dude.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to tell you because up here, and I don't know what it was like up there, we went from, now everybody's going to jump on me if I get this wrong, but I'm pretty sure we went from 189 to 215 to heavyweight.
So Right. So 189 was the old weight class.
The old weight
I don't think they don't have 189 anymore because my brother wrestled 189.
And hey, that's a bruiser weight class,
It is
man.
It is,
because
dude.
these guys are super fast and they're strong. So I mean, you'll get your head tore off.
Oh man, yeah. 189's nothing to screw around with, man. They're nuts. But yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And so the wrestling, I get what you're saying, being burnt out, but it keeps you in excellent shape. But it's year round. You can do freestyle. You can do Greco.
Right.
You're going to summer camps.
Right.
Different tournaments and stuff like that. So I completely understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Now, you said that everything that you did was for Dan, and I think that that's like a great point because I found myself talking to different friends of mine, and they're like, hey, man, I played football, but I really didn't enjoy it. I played because my older brother played or my dad wanted me to play, but track and field was my thing, you know?
Yeah.
And so Tonio.
I've ran into a lot of people like that.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, that does shape kind of the dynamic of your character a little bit as a young man, you know?
Sure.
We won track meets alone because of this man right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's serious. He had 6 events he would run.
Yeah.
And he would literally walk over to us and he's like, pick it up. Like, I cannot carry y'all. He would grab his back and we'd say, what's wrong? He's like, I'm tired of carrying y'all, you know? Because he would literally do it. We got in trouble one time because he got on the bus. We got on the bus and Tonio was like, we suck, and just yelling it out. And the coach was like, Tonio, none of that. You know, well, we do. That's what he said, you know? And like, I'm sitting there like, man, we're trying. And so I was throwing shot and disc. And
we're trying.
And I'm like, dude, we're trying. I'm like, you see this guy I'm throwing up against? Tonio goes, I know one thing. You better not come in dead last. That's
that was the thing. Don't come in dead last.
Don't come in dead last. That was the thing. So he did the 100, 200, 400, high jump, triple jump, long jump. And he would first or second in all those. So he says, if I leave the team, y'all are done. Y'all won't win another meet.
He's lying.
You said that?
Never.
That's
never.
crazy.
I'm a humble guy.
Not only,
That's crazy.
And listen, where's Terrell Burks? Everybody out there watching this, not only did Tonio tell me that, he told the coach. The coach got up immediately. Hey, let's fix this. Let's fix this.
This is why we had to change the name from
No, everything I'm saying is true. Everything I was there. I witnessed it. This man alone, I'm telling you, he was an amazing athlete. But
see, that's what blows my. So you were like, pick it up, guys, and everybody's like, I can only run so fast.
I can only do so much.
You are the fastest man
He's
within
the fastest
50
man.
miles of this place.
You know, nobody was touching him on the football field.
It's not like it's not like a team sport either.
No,
like, come on, man, run faster. I can't. I literally can't.
I literally can't. I had a head coach and then I had him. You know? So I'm telling him, dude, the guys I'm throwing against are throwing 48 feet. Grown men. You know, Scott King. You know, he tells me, figure it out.
Figure it out.
I'm over here, you know. He's like, I'm dying over here. Wow. I remember one time they had what was that relay in Salem?
Oh, it was the 4x1.
4x1 relay. The first leg, my buddy Stefano Blakely. Shout out to Stefano. Stefano takes off, right?
Yeah.
10 steps in, grabs his hamstring. Right? Ooh. Tonio comes from 4th leg on the corner, runs over. Get up! Get up!
First of all, that was my only way to go to state my junior year.
Yeah.
Get up!
He was yelling, get up! And Stefano's on the ground, right?
Yeah.
Screaming, holding his thing. Tonio's trying to pick him up. Get up! So I'll never forget that till the day I die. Like Tonio's like, you're not gonna blow my chances at state. You're gonna get up right now.
You ran at him?
Yeah, he ran across the field.
What?
Yeah. Now,
come on,
if
man.
I'm lying, I'm flying. Anybody watching this right now, they know this is a true story. If you what year was that? 2000.
It was our junior year.
2003.
He blew out his hamstring.
Well, no, he faked it. He didn't want to run it anyway. The coach made him run it, so he didn't want to run it. So he took 3 or 4 steps and
grabs Antonio. You could see the fire in his eyes.
Okay,
he was so mad. Tonio took off across the football field.
I'd be mad too.
Yeah, heated.
Everybody else is in the corner already digging.
Yeah,
Antonio, get up, get up! You better get up. I was in tears, Dan. I'm telling you, in tears in the bleachers because I know what he did.
Yeah,
I know what he did.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. No, I thought he actually blew out his hamstring, and you were like, no. Okay.
No, he was like, get up, because I know you ain't hurt.
Yeah, he
was
hurt.
faking.
Yeah,
okay.
he was faking. Yeah. Yeah. Didn't he have the baton in his hand too?
Yeah.
He was swatting at him with the baton. He threw the baton at Tonio, like trying to get him back, like I'm hurt.
Yeah.
The rest of the guys came in. They had a meeting in the middle of the field. Yeah. And it was like, he's faking. Look at him. Like, you ain't hurt. It was crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Why would you be scared to run a meet?
Because he just wanted to do jumps.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Now, Stefano, I know you're a police officer now, and
oh man,
this is all jokes.
He's in the 757.
Yeah, he's in the 757. Okay. Please don't come down here. Tell me I got to tail light out. Rough me up in some type of way, It's nothing but love for you. All right, we back the blue. Okay, we back the blue. So yeah, so we wanted to get into Dan a little bit more in depth in like the high school because I don't think people fully understand. I coached at a 4A school in Charlotte. Okay. It looked like a community college, right? I've never seen anything like that. Coming from Christiansburg to that was incredible. So, can you kind of dive into like
how you went to a 6A school?
Yeah. So again, like moved there when I was like 6 years old. So I got two older brothers. Okay. The oldest one, his name's Richard. He's 8 years older than me. And the middle one is Benjamin. He's 5 years. So they love football just as much as I do. And they went to Western Branch. And I do remember like growing up, my mom being like, oh, wow, there's, I think I can't remember how many kids go to the high school, maybe like 2,500 or something like that. There's a lot of kids. Yeah. And Chesapeake's so competitive. I mean, we got Oscar Smith.
Yeah, they're the number one team state.
Indian River, Ocean Lakes is right down the road. They're at the beach. I mean, we got some serious competition. But yeah, man, it was nuts. I just remember like summers of if you want to play ball down there, it's not like where summers here, you might be able to like, all right, I'm gonna go fishing. I can skip football practice because it's summertime, whatever. No, it's full-blown commitment. Right. At 15, 16 years old, it's like I'm waking up at 5:30 in the morning, and I'm going to practice, and I'm going to be there till noon. Seriously, it's crazy. That's crazy. And you're lifting, running, and watching film, and you're young. You don't know anything about film yet. You're just kind of like watching a game. Yeah. Like what the hell's going on? Yeah. But it's super competitive. But at the same time, those are the kind of players that colleges want. In my opinion, because when you adapt to college, it makes it that much easier. Because you've been there. I've been waking up at 5:30 in the morning. I've been doing this. It's going to be a lot harder, obviously, but it's like, it's highly competitive. It's crazy.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
So when did you realize you wanted to play football at the next level?
Oh, shoot. When I was 6 years old.
You already knew.
Oh, yeah. I knew. Yeah. Right away, straight away. I always had this love for the game, man. I loved it. It is one of those things where it's like, you either love it or, you hate it, but like you're good enough, so you do it anyways.
Has it always been your first love?
It has been.
That's how it was for me too.
Yeah. It's been my first love. So, and I can remember the very moment I fell in love with it. So I'm not really a Green Bay Packers fan anymore because, I went off to school and that was that. But I was a huge Green Bay Packers fan, and the Packers had a running back named Amon Green.
Yes, sir.
He was a dog on the field. He was a dog. And I remember watching him like it might have been like just a basic like a power or counter or something. And he just broke free, and he used to carry the ball like this.
He had the Evo pass.
Yeah. He'd carry the ball like this, and scores. And I remember being a little kid like, dude, this is nuts. I want to do that, Right. And then of course they had Brett Favre and Donald Driver and all these other studs that I fell in love with. So yeah, that was kind of like the genesis of me falling in love with the game.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So like, I wanted to kind of tap into, and we try to push this a lot because I want young kids to realize what is necessary, what's going to be required of them going from like a 6A school and when you walking on to tech.
Sure.
What was that experience like? Were you highly recruited, or was this a thing where you went for a visit and you were like, hey, I like it here?
Right. So it was, I wasn't highly recruited, really. Okay. it was one of those things where I probably could have gone to like a CNU or Bucknell, up north, something like that. VMI.
VMI's great.
Yeah. But I wanted to. I took a visit to Tech, unofficial, because I was a walk on, and I remember like seeing the stadium for the first time. I was like, oh my goodness, never seen anything like this. Really, never been to a college. Well, actually, I've seen ODU. Okay, but nothing like this. And I was like, this is nuts, It's like, could I really do this? And then that's where my parents come in again. They've always helped me kind of like shape that belief. It's just kind of like, yeah, you can do it, sure. You can do anything. I'm just like, okay, So it was one of those things like go big or go home. Buy once, cry once.
Right.
So I once I took that visit to Tech, there was no turning back. That was it. Enter Sandman for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
I
I still get goosebumps. You can hear the stadium from Christiansburg.
It's crazy. The ground shakes. It's nuts. But I walked onto the field. I think it was a spring game or something. And I said, what's up to Frank Beamer? And I don't think he knew who I was, but it was his last year coaching.
Okay.
So he was like, how you doing, son? He like gave me a hug, and I was like, good. Ain't no way you know who I am. But I don't know.
That's hilarious.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I got the full experience, and there was no turning back. It was cool.
Back when I also had a visit at Tech.
Okay.
And I'll share this with you because you just shared your story. But I went there and I had a moment to step out of the tunnel, just taking in Lane Stadium, right? Taking it all in. This is 2003, right?
Yeah.
And back in those times, Frank, I called him Frank, he used to ride around on a golf cart with his hat backwards. And he'd be listening to all types of rap music and stuff, like hyping the kids up. And he would ride around on this golf cart, and this wasn't no regular golf cart. Like, it had a little bit of pep on it,
Yeah, it had like a lift.
Yeah, so like nice rims on it and everything, and he's got his hat backwards. So I'm out there, and I'm just taking on the field, and I'm just taking in like, man, one day I'm going to run out of this tunnel, So I heard a cart coming up, and I just thought somebody was just going to go to the left of me and go around me.
Yeah.
Frank plows into the back of my calf. Boom. I hit the ground. I'm like, oh gosh, and I turn around, it's him on the court. So I'm on the floor and I'm like, Mr. Beamer, like, what's up? Why? What I do, He gets off so nonchalant, comes over to me. He said, stand up, son. So I'm hurt. I stood up and I'm looking at him. He goes, let me tell you right now, if you can't take that hit that I just gave you, you'll never run out of that tunnel. I'm like, what? I'm like, are you kidding me? We're basing everything off of this right here. Like, there's no way I'm gonna run out of that tunnel. You just hit me with a golf cart.
I ain't gonna be running nowhere.
Yeah, I ain't gonna be running nowhere. I take two of those, dude. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Like, surprised my knee and everything just didn't get blasted.
So he tried to like. He definitely. It was an accident.
He saw me and lined it up from 30 yards away. Like smack. And I'm pretty sure he had it wide open too. And I'm telling you, when he hit my calf, why? And I'm looking, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't even know who I was, And he told me straight up, hey, if you can't take that, you'll never run out of that tunnel. And I'm like, did they do this to everybody? Did that happen to you? Did they hit you with a golf cart?
No, they hit me with a damn golf cart.
Shout out to the Hokie Nation. Yeah. Shout out to Frank Beamer, but
shout out Frank.
Dude,
that's so funny.
And I mean, I got plowed in the back of the calf. I mean, my leg was black and everything.
Oh man!
I tell this story and people think I'm lying. Like that's like why would that happen? Why would he do that?
That's out of pocket.
That's out of pocket,
That's
he had
crazy.
no compassion for me, Dan. None. He looked at me and was like, bro, you're not going to make it. And I know there's harder hits out on the field, of course.
I don't think anybody would have made it.
Nobody would
don't care who you are.
Yeah, I don't care who you are. Yeah.
Him Ray lose the golf cart. He's not going to like it either.
He'll probably eat the golf cart, you know what I'm saying? But
picked it up.
Yeah. It was crazy. But I figured I'd share that with you,
That's
because
so funny, man.
it was just, it was crazy. So how was being a student athlete? Because the pressures of that, the requirements, what you guys are expected to do, not only in the classroom, but your conduct,
sure,
on and off the field, strength training, diet. Can you go into that a little bit? Like how involved were the staff in your guys' day-to-day, not only with your the education side, but with your off the field?
Oh yeah. So yeah, it's one of those things too. When you're playing at that level, they're involved in everything.
Y'all heard that?
Everything. Did you guys hear it?
Yeah.
So, as a freshman coming in, you're supposed to have study hall, and if you don't have above I forget what the GPA requirement is, like a 2.5 or something. You don't have above a 2.5, you're staying in study hall. So I'd had teammates that stayed in study hall from the time they walked on campus to the time they walked off.
Wow.
It was crazy. But yeah, it's but the nice thing about having study hall, and it's mandatory. For some kids, it's mandatory. The nice thing about that, it's kind of a blessing in disguise, because when you have total freedom out of football, because you work hard in the weight room, you're running sprints, you're lifting your face off, you got nutritionists, and that's your main focus. You're watching film, that's your homework. And so your free time, you just want to chill.
Right.
So, mandatory study hall is one of those things you can't, you gotta walk in, and, you have to at least look like you're studying.
And play the part a little bit,
Yeah. So, admittedly, a lot of times I was definitely playing the part. Right. I'd have like Game of Thrones on my laptop. Yeah.
I put them on.
Yeah, that's
it's
our
so
show.
good.
Oh my gosh.
I'd have Game of Thrones on my laptop, but I had like a little Apple MacBook, so I'd do like a 3-finger swipe. And it would be like, and like whoop. They had like these ladies that walk around and like inspect, make sure you're doing your homework or whatever. And I'd bamboozle these women so bad, like so hard.
Yeah, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Dang, look at these Lannisters.
But it was so good because, and this is, my buddies laugh about this to this day. So like on the spare screen, so when I swipe right, it would just be the Google home screen.
So, you didn't even look nothing up.
So I'd be like staring at my computer, and it'd say like the Google with the search bar. I'd just be staring at it. But I'm like, I'd swipe right and like keep watching Game of Thrones, and then she'd like come running over, and I like swipe again, and it's like still staring at the home screen. Like
she's so mad because she's like, I know.
She's like, you're doing something. There's no way you've been staring at that Google home screen for an hour.
No, ma'am. I've actually been watching The Mountain. Yeah.
It was so funny.
Yeah, but it's crazy. I don't mean to cut you off. It's crazy you even mentioned that show, because we had entire episodes of Basement Boys dedicated to Game of Thrones, like funny content, like with Cersei and like everything she was doing, like how wild she was. Yeah, and it's just a great show, by the way.
House of Dragons.
Man, I love it.
Next month.
Hey, it's they got the
House of Dragons.
Yep.
Next month.
When does that come out?
August 26th, I think.
Dude.
HBO.
Yep. House of Dragons.
I'm there.
Yeah. We're in there. If you call my phone next month and I do not answer you now, because I'm creating content and I'm watching these dragons, and I hope they burn. And like I said on the last episode, I called it. I said, listen, them dragons are gonna burn the city to the ground. Burn it to the ground. And the funniest thing, and I'll get back on top for a second. We were watching one of the last episodes. Mm-hmm. Cersei looks out over King's Landing, right? Yeah. And that dragon's just laying waste. You could see her face like, gosh. She didn't even believe she had him. Yeah. Too late now.
Yeah. Dude, I Yeah, trust me, I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan.
Oh, I love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
What are y'all's houses?
So we talked about this.
We like them all.
We like them all, but
the Lannisters
are so
they were just
cutthroat.
ruthless.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Tywin energy, dude.
Tywin energy,
That's
yeah.
my favorite
character.
in life.
If I could be anybody, it would probably be him because, like,
He talks his way out of it.
he was so cunning. And,
yeah.
you know, like,
I loved him.
So
especially
smart.
when he was sitting there talking to people and he'd get his way out of stuff. And we would laugh because we were like, we'd see somebody do something like messed up. We'd be like, bro, he's a Lannister. You know? Like, we didn't even attach that to like modern day stuff. Like, bro, he's a Lannister. He's wild, you know? But I loved, like, you know, Winterfell and, you know, that whole storyline. And Tonio's going to laugh at me right now, but I've been doing a lot of research about Antarctica.
Yeah.
And they have an ice wall. And I'm telling you right now, Admiral Byrd back in 1939 led an Arctic expedition down there.
Okay.
They got over top of that ice wall where the wildlings were because, right, the ice wall, right?
Yeah.
Nobody ventured out past that. Game of Thrones was telling us stuff in plain sight,
Yeah.
and we didn't even want to see it.
Yeah.
If you go to Antarctica and you go over that ice wall, they got woolly mammoths.
They got big people.
They got crazy stuff.
They
man.
got
8 feet
giants.
tall,
I'm
yeah.
telling you,
Yeah.
Admiral Byrd already confirmed it. Tonio thinks I'm lying. If something happens to me,
Yeah.
it's because I'm talking about this. right now,
Yeah,
okay?
for sure.
You go to Antarctica right now and land a plane, you will get choked out immediately.
Yeah.
Somebody will just show up. Boop,
Yeah.
done.
The Ice King's coming.
Yes. Yes. I'm telling you, Admiral Byrd documented in his diary, we dropped down to 1,000 feet to see what these animals were. We have confirmed they are woolly mammoths.
Really?
Tonio don't sound like he believe you, dude.
No, not
he doesn't.
whatsoever.
I don't care. I don't listen. I'm
We
telling
have
you.
arguments about
Hey.
every little thing.
You wanna know-
every little thing.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and
All right.
say he was lying.
You think he's lying?
Yeah, I mean, well, who goes to Antarctica, right?
This is
Nobody.
Nobody.
So,
but
like-
there's a reason. I'm telling you.
Well, that's what he's saying. He's like, all right, who else is going to come out to this cold place? He's like, I can say anything in my journal. There
All
are
right.
woolly mammoths.
All right. All right.
There
I
are
think he's
ice-
more on my
ice
side. with this
I
dragons.
one.
think I'm on your page.
You know, if it was
Crazy.
if it was false, why did they destroy 500 pounds of film after all that? Right. And this was the old, like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. We'll come back to that.
Because there are no woolly mammoths in that film.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I don't know, man. Nothing's been confirmed.
Yeah.
All
I'm
the
a
evidence
skeptic,
that was
man.
there
I'm a
is gone.
skeptic.
Yep. You remember what happened last time we had an argument about if there's wind in space or not?
It is.
Ain't no
No,
American
there's no
flag
tobacco.
blowing in space.
There is no wind in
dust
space.
off the moon. Where's it coming from?
The moon has an atmosphere.
Thank
It's not
you.
just like a. It's got.
I'm gonna
But
tell you,
like space is outside the atmosphere, is it not? I mean, we're talking vacuums, right?
and I'm telling you right now, they said Neil Armstrong had those little soft shoes, no ridges on the bottom, and every step he took put a little ridge in that. You want to know why? Because they were in a Hollywood studio set when they filmed that.
Dude, what was that Red Hot Chili Peppers song? Talks about that. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. Yeah.
Dream of Californication.
That's
Yep,
it. That's
Californication.
I do rock with that.
Yeah. No, that's a
Whatever.
good song. That's what that made me think. Anyways.
Anyway, yeah,
Anyways.
sorry, y'all. But no, so at that point, you had 4 years there at Tech playing linebacker, which you got to be a dog to be able to do that, right? That's a position that you got to be a headhunter, right?
Yeah,
you
sure.
can't-
You got to have some sort of aggression.
You got to.
can't be
you know?
soft,
Can't
yeah.
be soft because you're gonna get replaced. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Quickly.
Well, I mean, honestly, at that level, everybody's a dog, man.
Right.
Everybody wants a piece of you. That's it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Down to the DBs, like just dogs.
Right. And I would say DB is a little bit more, right? Because I mean,
Yeah.
they're Yeah.
Okay, I'd say safety, like
Right.
Strong safety.
strong safety.
right.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that was like that. I wanted to play that. I was too slow.
Gotcha. I was just so
slow.
when you were there, what were some of the times that you had to get over the most adversity while at Virginia Tech? What did that look like for you? Were there times where you were like, hey, I'm done with this? Were there times you considered, hey, I'm just going to go to school, get my education?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Yeah, there were definitely some times like, you know, after a really bad, this just brought me back. So my first spring ball, and we had a stacked linebacker core. And this is, you know, I had my first fall there. And I was a young guy, never paid attention to film because, Bud wants to invest in the guys that are going to be going out on Saturdays. So we had Andrew Matupuwaka, who is incredible.
Yes.
We had Tremaine Edmonds was the will. And then behind him, we had Sean Hulskamp. And, you know, he was just as good as Andrew. Incredible. And then behind him, we had Anthony Shagag, who was basically like all older guys, all vets.
Right.
And it was like first string, second string, third string. You know, they were all great. So I was like, you know, back up to the third string. And I was just like, you know, a young guy, didn't really care. I was like, okay, you know, I'll work out and eventually I'm going to learn this stuff.
Right.
So my first spring ball there, everybody starts getting down. Everybody starts hamstrings. Everybody starts getting hurt. And because they're older vets, they want to take care of them. So, you know, you're an older guy. The moment you have a toothache, they're like, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We have
over here now.
We have a guy. The guy over there. Yeah. What's his name? Get in there.
Right.
This is your chance. It's like, really? So basically, long story short, like the first string, second string, third string linebacker core, everybody gets hurt. And it's like me and this other dude out there. Probably the most miserable spring I'd ever had. It was like, you know, drinking water through a fire hose. It was insane, you know?
Right, yeah.
And Bud Foster, you know,
very intense,
who I love.
Very intense.
I love him.
Yeah.
But he is an intense man.
Right.
You can see that on TV.
He is intense.
I've read the his mouth sometimes on the sideline. Yeah.
You can. Yeah. He's an easy lip read.
Right. Yeah.
He's a passionate man as well. Just like, you know, my own dad. So, you know, that was a rough spring. And so, you know, there are definitely times where, you know, you want to not quit, but like, you're just like, man, is this like you're considering some things, you know? But again, you know, referencing, you know, my parents and how I was raised, it was kind of like, you quit, you're never going to stop thinking about it. Right. You're never going to get this chance back. Seriously, you know, like I could be sitting here 24 years old and just be like, yeah, well, I stopped playing because, you know, coach said some mean things to me. Right. You know, that's no way to go. Right. You know? So yeah, there were definitely some times where there was adversity and, you know, blood, sweat and tears, everything.
Gotcha.
But you know, one of the main things that helped me too was the guys that I came in with. Right. Seriously, like, top-notch character, tough dudes, man. You know, we did everything together, and you know, they kind of help you along.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, Dan, when talking about that adversity, you're approaching your senior year.
Yeah.
Getting your major and stuff like that, all that mapped out.
Right.
What was your plan of action at that point? Were you thinking, hey, we may look into the next level. We may start looking into that. And also, this whole time you've had this talent,
right?
That was something that you love and, you know, dear to your heart, country music and singing and playing instruments and stuff like that. Did that kind of play into your decision when you were a senior? You know, trying to like say, hey, I'm gonna go to corporate world, or am I going to try to?
Yeah, that was always. Yeah, music was always in the back of my mind. It was whether or not, you know, you're always kind of like, what are other people going to think? You know, right. You know, well, you know, like I've always been like this linebacker, like, you know, kind of guy. You know?
Right.
Like, what are people going to think, you know?
Right.
And it took me a while to kind of digest that, really, nobody cares. You know, I mean, and if they do care, screw them. Because they're weirdos anyways, you know?
Yeah.
Like, And B, just it's your life. You got one of them.
Yep.
Yep. Like live it on your terms. Give it a shot while you're still young.
Yep.
So, when Idol called me, it wasn't like I was fully jumped into music. I was still thinking about going to the Marine Corps or getting a job with my degree. But it was one of those opportunities that it's like you never know at what how your blessings are going to come. They're not always going to come the way you want them to.
That's true.
And I was never the type to be like, I'm going to go on American Idol. Never that kind of type. But I just kind of looked at it a little differently. I was like, well, maybe this is happening for a reason.
Right.
Because it's not, they looked for me, and that was kind of a sign to just like, hey, maybe you should give this a shot, an honest shot.
Right.
So
you made a good point. Me and Antonio talk about this all the time. We have one life, right? And we have one shot to do as many things as we can to fulfill whatever dreams we have.
Absolutely.
And oftentimes if you let people into that, they can either support you or they can try to like deconstruct that.
Yeah.
And what you just said, such a great point. Like if they're not supportive of it, that's okay. Still got love for you, but I know this is what I want to do. Right. Because you don't want to look back when you're 50, 60 years old and half of the stuff you wanted to do, you did not because you valued someone else's opinion too much.
Yeah.
Me and Antonio wouldn't even be doing this right now if we valued all the opinions of people.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Some people don't even agree that we should have fun and make jokes. And I'm like, this is life.
This is it. This is real stuff.
Yeah, it's real stuff.
People, like people laugh, Right.
Like,
it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. I want people to do that more,
Yeah. So exactly. So you guys understand where I'm coming from.
100%.
Right? Anybody that puts themselves out there, even Adam knows,
yep.
Anybody that puts themselves out there, especially in a field like we're in,
right.
It's like podcasting, musicians. It's something that, takes a lot of courage, but it's like, you want to, I don't know, you want to just live life on your own terms.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot of feedback,
Right.
And it's up to you to figure out who's being genuine and who wants to give you the supportive, sort of criticism you need to continue with what it is that you do.
Right.
Versus the people that are just there to see you and, oh man, you're doing great. That's awesome. Fans love them, but making sure they have your best interest in mind.
Best interest, right.
Not talking about, you should write a song about this and do this and,
Right.
Yeah, man. It's easy, if they're, once you start doing things that make you happy too, and you find out who your friends are really quick.
You do.
Because your friends will celebrate it with you.
Right.
They'll be like, you're doing this? Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Or like, oh, he's doing this. I hadn't heard from him in a while.
Right.
And so, you find out who they are really quick. And it thank God for it, honestly.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right, because it definitely helps out, even with everything that you've been through, because just from talking to you, you had so many different avenues you could have taken.
I'm blessed.
You're blessed. You had so many different avenues that you could have taken. And I'm proud that you did something that scared you. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's hard to do the things that scare you.
It's the only time you can be brave.
It's the only time you can be brave, because you know how many people have come up and they're like, hey, man, I remember back in high school, you still making jokes and doing this the same way, man. You haven't changed. And I'm like, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I have changed, but I'm doing stuff that makes me happy, you know? So let's not talk about 20 years ago. Let's talk about right now.
Yeah.
What are we doing right now?
Exactly.
And at the end of all this, I want to look back, no matter what our platforms do.
Yeah.
And I can say, hey, I talked to Adam and Dan one day and Curtis, and we had an amazing time.
Yeah.
Like
that's it. Dude.
This is cemented, this is, so I'm thankful for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
So to get into kind of out of college ball, and I had another question about, just what it was like being at that level and not necessarily being like the front man, right?
Right.
Because you're still required to put as much 100% effort, all the reps, every down. You're still required to know that playbook at that level.
Right.
Because like you said, they never know when they're going to be like, hey, you.
Right.
So what was that like to continue to be motivated and knowing that, hey, I am going to be behind this guy, unless they're getting hurt or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so when you start out, you're a hopeful, and you do all the homework and you're in the weight room and all this other stuff. But as an older guy, I think you have so much invested into the program and, into your guys and into the coaches,
Right.
too. You love them all.
Right.
So it's hard work. It is really hard work. But that's something that just really comes down to, what matters the most to you.
Right.
To me, the program, it was my life at that point. It was, it was everything. And the guys that were in front of me, like they were some of my best friends.
That's awesome.
So it's not, you're competing against your teammates for the starting job, but like once they get it, you're always practicing like, you're going to go in next, like you're the starter kind of thing. But that, that means you also have to be their biggest cheerleader. You also have to be a big supporter of them,
Sounds like it was easy to do that, with the type of connections that you had while you were playing with them.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was, they're all wonderful guys. They make it easy,
One thing I did see at Tech, and I'll say this, y'all had the best like equipment, facilities, resources, and y'all had cold water. I played football. And I'm going to tell you right now, Dan, we couldn't even get ice for our water here. And if you're watching this, you know who you are. I'd still like to speak to you about this offline at some point. The Hokies, Hokie Nation, they have cold water. You want to know why? Because you're practicing in the heat. They had us drinking out of a water hose.
That's crazy.
That they poured ice on top of. Now, that ice ain't going to do nothing for the water that's inside of that hose.
That's a waste. That's terrible.
Tony and them are laughing because the linemen were over here getting dogged out. And you know what they were doing? Standing in a line. Standing in a line, waving their hands like this, and the guys at the end going to catch a ball, and they're talking about telling us, pick it up. They didn't move their feet for 45 minutes. And I was just like, dude, this is
We got to keep our eyes on the ball.
Yeah, I got it. But you know what? Shout out to the Hokies. You want to go there, play football. It's great. They have cold water.
So
okay.
We were looking at the new dining facility they have.
Yeah.
That place is nuts. So they didn't have that when I left the program.
Okay.
And I mean, Virginia Tech's growing so fast. But we walked in there and they had like egg rolls lined up and like.
It's obvious how much they care about their athletes. And their
That's good.
Everything is, and it was like that when I was there too. But literally everything is designed to make you a better athlete. Everything.
That's crazy.
We got, down to the doctors, the trainers, nutritionists. Look, I'm plugging in Virginia Tech football right now, but it's nuts.
Hokies. Yeah.
It's seriously nuts. And, when we were walking around the facility there, I was like, I felt gratitude. I was really happy that I was able to be a part of that, and yeah, man, it was
That's
incredible.
awesome.
It was awesome.
That's awesome. I want to switch gears just a little bit to, I know I read something that you had wrote about starting to pick up instruments at an early age, riding your truck, singing.
Yeah.
Always loving country music. Shout out to you on that.
Neil Moon.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. When the sun goes down on my side of town, Tonio. Not yours, mine. Okay.
Sometimes people just lose their one and only, dude. You gotta have emotions, man. You gotta feel that.
You feel it, yeah.
My side of town.
My side of town. So when did you first start playing instruments?
Oh, maybe 7 years old, 7 or 8.
That's impressive.
I started playing piano. Yeah. I didn't necessarily want to. That was one of that. See, you mentioned like, what did Dan want to do?
What did Dan want to do? Yeah.
So what Dad wanted Dan to do was to appreciate. He wanted me to like at least have some sort of appreciation for music.
Right.
So it wasn't necessarily supposed to be like, one of those things like he's gonna do it whether he likes it or not. It's like, let him give it a shot, and see how he likes it. And
awesome.
It didn't take long at all. I just, fell in love with it. I fell in love with jazz.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously. But yeah, that was kind of like the gateway into, you know, other things.
Awesome. So how did you build up the courage to go from, you know, having little jam sessions with your friends, playing guitar, all these different instruments, to getting on social media and utilizing that platform to upload to TikTok and doing those type of things?
So I was working a night shift at it's a port out in Portsmouth called Inviva, and basically I won't get into what they do, but I was working there with a friend of mine.
Okay.
And one of our coworkers brought in a Martin guitar, and Martin's it's a nice guitar,
right?
And he was playing some James Taylor and sitting there, and it's like 3 a.m. I'm like, dude, this sucks, whatever. Right. And he goes, Dan, do you know anything? Can you play guitar? And I was like, yeah. He's like, you want to play and sing us something? I was like, sure. He handed me this Martin, and I started playing like Texas Was You. It's a song by Jason Aldean called Texas Was You.
Yeah.
And when I finished the song, I picked my head up, and like they were all just like, what? That was good, dude.
Right.
So ever since I did that, my friend was like, dude, stop being a coward and start posting something on TikTok. And it took me about a month. Like, you know, it didn't I guess a month. Is that long?
Man, I mean,
I don't know. He kept doing it, but I was just like, you know, I'd always wanted to, but again, it's like, well, what would people think? You know,
right?
Maybe a month or two.
Right.
I'm still on it, but yeah. So I finally posted one, and I think it was Neon Moon, my first video.
Oh,
it was Neon,
yes, sir.
It might have been Neon Moon, yeah. But yeah. So, and it did really well, and that was super encouraging. So I just kept posting videos. Before that, on TikTok, I'd post like stupid stuff, like, you know, me running in the snow at, like barefoot, and then like falling, and you'd get up and there'd be like an imprint of like a cock and balls like in the snow or something like stupid, you know. That's hilarious. Yeah, like so that's what
you know, like,
up to that point, like that's what I use TikTok for, just like totally fun.
That's hilarious.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's funny.
And then so the first video I just posted it, and it did really well. And that was kind of like how it all started. I was like, oh, maybe I got something here.
Yeah. So when you were doing that, what was who caught that attention, that traffic from those going viral, and who reached out to you about you know, being one of the artists on America?
So yeah, one of the producers, her name's she's really nice. I don't even know if I was supposed to say her name. Never mind. But she sorry.
We'll edit it if we have to. Yeah.
Okay. But really nice lady. But she DMs me on Instagram and was like, hey, I'm so and so from American Idol. We're really but the way she like formatted it looked like a bot. It didn't look real. You didn't believe it, yeah. And I get fake messages a lot, and it's just like, all right, whatever. Like, you know, like every once in a while you get like a fake, like, hey, like, you know, invest $500 and you'll get $50,000 back in a week. I'm like, okay. Right. So I thought it was like,
I'm not putting my credit card information anywhere online.
Right. Yeah.
I thought it was fake, and I didn't message her back. And then she calls the Alumni Association, and she got that connection because my TikTok photo was a picture of me in my football uniform. Okay. So she recognized that, and she called the Alumni Association, and they got a hold of my parents because, you know, I didn't answer. I mean, it was just a random number. I'm not picking up for random numbers.
You don't either. Yeah.
So,
nope.
You know, but my mom will. Shout out.
Thank God.
Shout out Perry. You know? Yeah. So she picks up and they go, hey, does your son sing? Like, yeah. Well, American Idol's trying to get a hold of him, and he's not picking up. And she was like, what? And then she called me, and she was like, did you know American Idol's trying to get a hold of you? And I was like, oh, I guess it was real. And, you know, and it turned out it was the same lady that DM'd me. And, you know, just kind of sat back for maybe a day on it. And I was, you know, talked with some of my friends and family, and it was like, what do you got to lose, man? Like, maybe just go for it, you know? So
yes, sir.
That was the attitude.
That's awesome.
So I went in there with no expectations whatsoever. And I'm honestly thankful for it, because a lot of people that go on, there are a lot of great singers and songwriters and artists that go onto that show, and they they put it on a pedestal.
Okay.
And it is a great show. And I love all three judges, and they're all wonderful artists. They've shaped American culture. Oh, excuse me. But it's when you go in there with no expectations and you're not scared of anything, I was nervous obviously, but you just do your best. It makes it that much easier to do something like that.
So speaking of the judges on that show, Katy Perry was one of them, correct?
Oh yeah.
I wasn't even gonna say nothing.
Oh yeah, she was.
He said it for you.
Because I'll tell you what.
We will keep this PG. Of course, we are. But I just want to know if you had an email to her or something that. Just tell her I said, Miss Perry, I got my on you, girl. And, and
I'll be your firework.
And baby, you're a firework.
You firework.
So
No, I said that because you brought it down a level. You did that.
I went down.
You did that.
You had to match me where I was
at. You
at.
did that subconsciously. You were
right.
like, so Katy Perry.
Katy Perry. That's my late night radio voice. Yeah. So I heard that Lionel Richie was smacking folks on that show.
What do you mean?
I heard. Now listen, it's a source. I heard Lionel Richie would go backstage and get out of his changing room. If they didn't give him the right shirt, it didn't fit the right way, he was smacking people. Now I don't know if you saw that, but that's what I heard.
That's a 180 from what I experienced.
Okay.
That's funny as hell though. That's funny.
Maybe those were after his smacking days were over. He turned his corner.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Lionel Richie smacking folks?
I don't know. But so how was it? You're on the show. We've never seen the behind the scenes of that, right? And we, a lot of people have not seen the things that you've seen. And how was it, a two-part, having Jimmy Allen work with you? And Coach, I love that guy, and I'd love to meet him someday.
That was crazy.
Okay.
That was nuts. And he's super relatable. So there are celebrities that, you'd talk to and you're super nervous to meet. And I was super nervous to meet him. But he's just a guy, man.
Down to earth.
So down to earth, so chill. So it made it so easy.
Gotcha.
And not everybody's like that. Not everybody has that kind of quality to them. But
right. You did an amazing job. You made it to, correct me if I'm wrong, you made it to the final 11.
14.
14, my bad. 14, okay. And I mean, just think about that though, because I watched your first performance in the audition, and that was The Dance by Garth Brooks, right?
Right.
Another great song, Tonio. So when
if you have a heart.
If you have a heart, and so that was amazing. And being there, going through everything that you did, I know you moved to Nashville, so did your expectations change when you left the show? Did you know, okay, right now I'm going to full force into my country music career?
Well, that's what they kind of had, like, we gave an exit interview. They gave us an exit interview kind of thing. And a word of advice to anybody that's going to do the show or anything, because you're on top of the world after the show ends for you, and it ends for everybody. But if you don't put the pedal down and take advantage of it, it flees. It goes just like that. It's going to die. It's going to die. It's going to die out.
Okay.
And I'm not saying mine won't, but you got to at least, you got to put the pedal down. You got to invest in yourself. A lot of people will get off that show and they do really well. Yeah. And then that's it. They just go back home and they, keep playing covers on their piano or guitar, and that's fine,
Right.
But, the gold is in your own music. That's where the money lies. You can't just sing other people's songs forever.
That's true.
And that's something that I'm currently working on right now.
That's awesome. I was going to ask you, where can we? We're definitely going to follow you, keep in contact with you, and
right.
Yeah.
So you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Dan Marshall Official. You can also find me on Facebook at Dan Marshall Official. Join my little group. I don't really get on Twitter, but I think it's like Dan Marshall. It's like _ Dan Marshall or something like that. _ Dan Marshall. But
you guys, everybody out there, I know you probably know of them already, but It's an amazing young man right here. So definitely give him a follow. And I'm sure you got a lot of, I don't want to put it out there, but working on music, working on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Would it be possible for me, Antonio, to be in a music video if you put one out?
Oh, yeah.
Please.
I'm begging
we
you.
have cowboy hat. I mean, whatever you want us to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you. We won't say a word. We just want to be, somewhere on there.
If Antonio put on cowboy boots, too.
I'm telling you.
All right, we'll do it.
Yeah,
some skins on, dude.
Yeah. Adam will be there. I mean, it'll be great. Yeah.
When it's time to release my first music video, you guys are getting a call.
Oh, my gosh.
Getting a call.
Oh, it's on. It is on. I told y'all, you better get on the right team.
Come on.
I told y'all. This is amazing, dude. You've seen it. We won't do it. I just want to be there. Yeah, my mom's literally going to cry.
She wants your autograph so bad.
Yeah, she's going to cry. This is, dude, this is amazing. And we're going to continue to support you, not just because you're here today, man, but because you're 24 years old. You're wise beyond your years,
Thank you.
Like the direction that you're going, the things that have been instilled in you to get you to this point, meeting great people like Adam, and you're living your life, man. Like I said, you could have gone a whole different direction with this, but we're proud of you. Honestly, yeah.
Thank you, guys.
In closing, what small piece of advice would you give to the young people, not only in this community, but around the world that have seen you on American Idol that want to follow that dream? What advice would you give them?
I would say just take the first step, whatever it is.
Okay.
A lot of people will sit back on their hands and they will never get the courage to do what they want to do. And it's not just what you want to do too. You got to be realistic with it. Like if I decide tomorrow I want to work for NASA, it's too late. Sorry. That's like 15 years of hard math. It's too late, Dan.
Right. It's too late. Right.
But if you really have a passion for something, you got that drive, you got that dream, you got the talent, do it.
Right.
Screw what other people think.
Right.
Because if they care, dude, they got enough problems in their life and they're just trying to, look at somebody else.
Right.
Screw them.
Yeah.
Go do it. Take the first step.
Take the first step.
And then take the next one and then the next and, see where it goes, man.
You might end up in Nashville.
You might end up in
writing
Nashville.
songs with Adam.
Come on.
And you got Derek Antonio with Stetsons in the background.
That's
so
right.
You never know where you're going to end up, I mean, this is by fate. This is, the Lord put this together, man.
That's right.
And we just want to thank you for being on here. We had a couple more things that we didn't get into, but we don't want to hold you too long.
Thank you, guys.
Dan, thank you, Adam. Thank you, Curtis. And this has been episode 4 of Steak and Sauce Podcast. Please go ahead on YouTube, like and subscribe to the channel. Also, like and subscribe to Finding Your Place podcast with Scott Bunn. Please also come out to the Sunflower Festival, 2nd annual Sunflower Festival tonight at Sinklin Farms at 3020 Riner Road in Christiansburg. Dan will be performing from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's going to be great. Also follow Sinklin Farms on all social media platforms. It's a beautiful, beautiful farm out there. They have a lot of events coming up, and they post about everything. They're also very involved in the community and agriculture and how everything's changing with the science and stuff. So just really give them a follow. We appreciate you guys being here and look forward to we'd love to have you back.
Steak and Sauce, I'm coming back.
Hey,
That's money.
you heard it.
You guys are money, man.
Yeah.
Thank
Part
you
2.
guys.
Thank you. Awesome.